let's get right into it. Have you ever had that feeling that building real wealth is some kind of secret, something that's only for people who are already rich, or that you've got to spend a fortune just to get your financial life on track? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on the whole thing. We're going to show you exactly how to become your own and best financial advisor. First, just look at this number, $88 billion. That's how much Americans shelled out for financial advice in just 1 year. It's a gigantic industry, and that's all built on this idea that managing your own money is just too complicated for the average person. But that's only half the story. Now look at this. 64% of us can't even handle a simple $400 emergency. So let that sink in. We're spending billions on advice that the huge majority of people are one flat tire away from real financial trouble. So what is going on here? Something is clearly broken. And in this explainer, we are going to expose exactly why that traditional model is failing so many people. Then we'll show you the powerful DIY alternative and walk you through a clear phase-by-phase plan to take complete control of your financial destiny. Okay, so part one of the problem is pretty straightforward. A high cost of advice means it's often inefficient and, frankly, out of reach for the very people who need it the most. And this is just wild. A FINRA study found that for most people, the advice they're paying thousands for is basically standardized information you can get online for free. Think about that. You're not paying for some secret formula. You're just paying for the fancy packaging. And they create a massive draw on your wealth. And a 1% fee doesn't sound like a big deal, right? But over 30 years, that tiny fee can eat up nearly 20% of your entire portfolio. When you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that should be yours, gone, just to pay for advice you could have followed yourself? So if that old model is so broken, what's the alternative? Well, that brings us right here to the DIY advantage. And we really need to stop thinking of this as a compromise. In so many ways, it's actually a superior strategy. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. With a traditional advisor, there's always that potential conflict of interest. You have to ask, are they recommending what's best for me or what pays them the biggest commission? But when you're the DIY planner, your incentives are 100% aligned with your own goals. You can make adjustments the second your life changes, not wait for a quarterly meeting. And, maybe most importantly, you build real financial knowledge, an asset that protects you for life. So, how do we actually do it? Well, the road to wealth starts right here with phase one, be diagnostic. A doctor wouldn't just start throwing pills at you without a diagnosis, right? And you can't build a financial plan without first getting a crystal clear picture of exactly where you are today. Before you do anything else, you have to know this number, your free cash flow. This isn't just about budgeting, okay? This is the raw fuel for your wealth building engine. The bigger this number is, the faster that engine can run. Everything we're going to do from this point on is about making that engine more powerful. And this is where we need to look deeper than just your total net worth, your liquid net worth. That tells you how prepared you are for a surprise. It's your resilience. Your investment net worth, that tracks your real progress towards freedom. And your savings rate, that one number is a better predictor of when you can retire than almost anything else, even your investment returns. Now, this gives you an incredible benchmark. So how does your own spending stack up? If your housing is taking up 40% of your income, it's literally starving your ability to save. If that savings slice is only 5%, your wealth engine is barely idling. This isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional. Okay, once you know your numbers, you're ready for phase two. And this is critical. Before you go on the attack, you have to build your defenses. This is all about creating a system that makes you financially unbreakable so that one piece of bad luck doesn't wipe out years of hard work. And you can forget that old simple rule about saving 6 months at expenses. A staged fund is way smarter. Tier 1 is your little shock absorber for the small stuff, right in your checking account. Tier 2, that's for major crises, and you keep it in a high-yield savings account, so it's actually earning you decent interest. This prevents you from having to sell investments at the worst possible time. And then Tier 3 gives you a long-term security while still fighting inflation. A huge part of your defense is having a smart debt strategy. And this table, it's your playbook. That high-interest credit card debt, that is a financial fire. You attack it with everything you've got. But low-interest debt, like a 3% mortgage, paying that off early is actually a bad move. You're almost always better off investing that extra money instead. Which brings us to this really important question. And the answer is a hard no. It's not. The whole key is understanding the difference between destructive debt, the kind that just bleeds you dry, and strategic debt, the kind that can actually help you build wealth. So here it is, a super simple but powerful rule of thumb. If a debt is costing you more than 6% in interest, paying it off gives you a guaranteed tax-free return of 6%. You just can't beat that anywhere. But if it's less than 6%, your money has a much better chance of working harder for you in the market over the long run. All right, you defenses are up. You know your numbers. Now for the really fine part, phase 3. This is where we build the simple automatic engine that is going to grow your wealth for decades to come. Now listen, the order in which you fund your accounts is a huge deal because of taxes. So step 1, always get your full 401k match. It's free money, an instant 100% return. Then the HSA, the Health Savings Accounts. It's the most powerful retirement account there is with its triple tax advantage. After that, a Roth IRA for tax-free growth, then back to your 401k to max it out, and only then do you move to a regular taxable account. And what do you actually buy in those accounts? Well, you do not need to be a stock-picking genius. You just need this, the 3-Find Portfolio. It's an elegant, powerful, and simple solution that lets you own a piece of the entire world's economy, keep your fees super low, and beat the vast majority of highly paid pros just by being disciplined. And this is what it looks like. It's beautiful in its simplicity. For most people with a long time horizon, an allocation like this is just about perfect. You capture the growth of the whole US economy, you add some international diversification, and you use a small slice of bonds just to keep things stable. That's it. Simple, cheap, and unbelievably effective. And the final piece of this whole engine is discipline. But the great thing is, the system provides it for you. Once a year, you just rebalance. So if stocks had a killer year, you sell a little and buy more bonds. If stocks crashed, you do the opposite. Sell some bonds and buy more stocks. It automatically forces you to buy low and sell high. And it takes your own worst enemy, your emotions, completely out of the equation. So, if you only take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Building wealth isn't about finding some magic stock tip or hiring an expensive guru. It's about taking ownership. It's about understanding the system, building your defenses, and then just patiently letting a simple, powerful engine do the work for you. That path, it doesn't start when you have enough money. It starts the moment you decide that you are in control. And that moment can be right now.